Welcome to the Lakers Highlights Today channel. Before we get to the news, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now, let's get to the Lakers news.
Hey there, Lakers fans. Here we are with another exclusive analysis of the moves from our golden franchise. Today, we're going to talk about a possibility that could completely change the course of the next season. You already know the front office has its eyes on Andrew Wiggins, but just imagine if that deal doesn't happen. That's right, folks. There always has to be a plan B, and what I've found out will surprise many of you. The name this time is Quentin Grimes, currently with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now pay attention to what I'm saying here. Grimes is not just another ordinary player floating around the league. This guy is only 25 years old and has already shown he can be a key piece. Last season, after leaving the Mavericks, the kid posted impressive averages of 21, 9 points, 5, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists. And check out these percentages: 46, 9% from the field, and 37, 3% from 3. Of course, some skeptics will say those numbers are inflated because Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George were out injured for a long time. But look, when a player gets an opportunity, he shows what he can really do. And Grimes showed he has everything to shine alongside LeBron James and Luka Doncic. The proposal I've heard about goes like this. The Lakers would acquire Quentin Grimes via sign and trade while sending Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Knecht, and our 2031 first-round pick to Philadelphia. To make it work, Grimes would sign a 3-year $60 million contract, averaging $20 million annually. I know many of you are wondering if it's worth giving up Knecht, who showed great potential as a rookie. But listen to this. Grimes has already proven he's an elite perimeter defender. He's got precise footwork, can navigate screens like few others, and has quick hands that generate key steals. Unlike Wiggins, who's already at the peak of his career, Grimes still has a lot of room to grow. The 76ers haven't offered Grimes the big contract he wants, and that opens a perfect window for us. They avoid losing the player for nothing and still get valuable pieces. Vanderbilt is that type of player who does the dirty work, grabs rebounds, and can defend multiple positions. Knecht comes in with a cheap rookie deal and could fit perfectly in their system as a floor-spacing wing. Now let me be very clear with you. Wiggins is still option number 1 because he's proven he can perform at a high level in the playoffs. He has championship experience, defensive versatility, and can consistently give you 15 to 18 points. He's the safer choice, no doubt. But Grimes represents something different. He's youth, potential, and a bet on the future. He may not have Wiggins' imposing physicality, but he makes up for it with tactical intelligence and defensive dedication. Critics will say last season's numbers were circumstantial, a result of Philly's injuries. But I tell you this, when a player gets the chance, he shows who he really is. For the Sixers, this deal makes total sense. They get Vanderbilt, who can cover multiple positions and provide the hustle every team needs. Knecht arrives as a long-term prospect with a cheap contract. And that 2031 pick could be very valuable if we're rebuilding by then. The risk exists, I won't lie to you. We're talking about trading a promising rookie and a future pick for a player who might not replicate that production. But the reward could be huge. If Grimes develops his full potential while keeping that defensive edge, we'd have a long-term two-way forward on a controlled contract. The front office will keep pursuing Wiggins because he's the more reliable option. But if that deal stalls, Grimes becomes a very attractive alternative. He may not have Wiggins' resume, but he has youth, defensive potential, and the hunger to prove he can be a star in this league. At the end of the day, it all depends on our tolerance for risk. Wiggins is security, Grimes is a bet on growth. For a team that needs to balance the urgency of winning now with future sustainability, we can't afford to dismiss either option. That's the Lakers' reality today. We're always looking for that piece that can take us back to the top, whether it's a proven veteran or a young talent waiting for his chance to shine. And you'll be here to follow every move on this journey back to the next championship. Now let's talk about how Grimes would fit into our system. Just picture it. LeBron running the fast break, Doncic dictating the pace in the half court, and Grimes sprinting down the wings, always ready to catch that ball at the three-point line. He's exactly what we need to complete this puzzle. What impresses me most about Grimes' game is how well he moves without the ball. Folks, this is fundamental when you play with 2 assist masters like LeBron and Luka. Grimes doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time to be effective. He finds open spaces, makes smart cuts, and is always in the right spot to finish the plays created by our leaders. Defensively, and here's where it gets interesting, Grimes would give the coach flexibility we haven't had in a long time. He can defend from point guards to forwards, depending on what the game demands. With LeBron able to play more inside when needed, having someone like Grimes to handle perimeter defense is essential in key moments. The chemistry he could build with Doncic would be special to watch. Luka is a master at finding teammates at the perfect moment, and Grimes has that perfect timing for catch and shoot. Can you imagine Doncic driving to the basket, the defense collapsing, and Grimes wide open in the corner for the three? That's playoff basketball, folks. And with LeBron, the dynamic would be even more intriguing. The King is still one of the best passers in the league, and having a player like Grimes, who can run the floor and finish both at the rim and from distance, would give James endless options to create. Plus, in moments when LeBron needs to rest, Grimes has the ability to take on more offensive responsibility. What excites me most is thinking about how Grimes could grow playing alongside two such intelligent veterans. LeBron and Doncic are basketball professors, guys who elevate the level of any teammate. A young player like Grimes, with all that hunger to improve, would be like a sponge absorbing knowledge from these two geniuses. Tactically, imagine the possibilities. LeBron in the low post, Doncic orchestrating on the wing, and Grimes constantly moving to confuse the defense. Or Doncic with the ball, LeBron cutting to the rim, and Grimes open on the perimeter. The options would be practically endless. And in clutch moments when the game is on the line, having three guys who can create their own shot makes all the difference. Grimes has already shown he doesn't shy away from pressure, and that's exactly what we need to get back into true title contention. The adaptation would be natural because Grimes has already played with stars before. He knows how to be effective without being the first option, but he can also step up when the situation demands. That balance is gold for a team chasing a championship. Lakers Nation, the possibility of Grimes wearing our purple and gold genuinely excites me. He would be another quality piece to our mosaic, a player who would come in to add, not compete for space. And that, my friends, is exactly the kind of move that can take us back to the top of the Western Conference. Now let me be realistic about what we can expect if Grimes comes instead of Wiggins. First point, don't expect the same 9 points per game he had in Philadelphia. With LeBron and Doncic leading the offense, Grimes would probably average 12 to 15 points per game, but with much more efficiency. He'd be getting cleaner looks and much more favorable situations to score. What we can really expect from Grimes is defensive consistency game after game. Unlike Wiggins, who sometimes has off nights defensively, Grimes comes in with the mindset of being a defensive specialist from the first minute. He would be that guy assigned to guard the opponent's best guard or wing, freeing LeBron and Doncic to focus more on offense. In terms of three-point shooting, this is where Grimes can really shine. Imagine a guy hitting 37% from deep, receiving passes from two of the best playmakers in the NBA. We're talking about at least 5 or 6 high-quality attempts per game, which could mean 15 to 18 points from threes alone on his best nights. The big difference compared to Wiggins is that Grimes is still building his reputation. That means he'll come in with a hunger to prove himself that could be contagious for the whole team. Wiggins has already achieved everything he needed to, but Grimes still has that fire of someone who wants to write his name in the league's history. In the playoffs, and here's where it gets interesting, Grimes could be a very pleasant surprise. Opponents will be so focused on stopping LeBron and Doncic that they might underestimate our new wing's impact. And when that happens, players like Grimes often shine in the most important moments. Remember how many players built their careers precisely in those underestimated situations. What we can also expect is steady improvement throughout the season. Grimes is only 25 and entering what should be the prime of his career. With LeBron's mentorship, Doncic's vision, and the Lakers' development structure, this guy could take a massive leap in his game. Physically, Grimes doesn't have Wiggins' imposing frame, but he makes up for it with intensity that can energize the whole team. He's the type of player that makes teammates work harder because no one wants to fall behind when they see someone giving their all on the court. One thing that makes me optimistic is how Grimes performs in big games. The guy doesn't slow down when the pressure rises. On the contrary, he seems to play better under the spotlight. That's exactly what we need for the playoffs, where every possession matters. His adaptation to our system would be quicker than many think. Grimes has already played on teams with multiple stars, so he knows how to be effective without being the protagonist. He understands his role and executes it with excellence, which is crucial when you have a roster full of offensive options. What might be most exciting is that, unlike Wiggins, who has already peaked, with Grimes we'd be betting on growth. Over the next 2 or 3 years, while we still have LeBron at a high level and Doncic entering his prime, Grimes would be evolving alongside them. That synchronization could be the key to multiple titles. So folks, if the Wiggins deal doesn't happen and we end up with Grimes, don't see it as a second option. See it as a smart bet on a player who could become a key piece of our next dynasty. Sometimes the best move isn't the obvious one, and Grimes could be exactly that surprise we'll all celebrate a few years from now. Now evaluating this possible trade, weighing all the pros and cons like a true Lakers analyst. On the positive side, we're talking about acquiring a 25-year-old in his physical prime on a controlled 3-year deal who has already proven to be an elite defender with legitimate offensive potential. Grimes would arrive without the heavy expectations that come with bigger names, but with all the hunger of someone who still has a lot to prove. Financially, this also works in our favor. $20 million a year for a two-way forward of this quality is practically a steal in today's market. Look at what teams are paying for similar players, and you'll see this could be one of the most advantageous contracts in the league in the coming years. On the other hand, I can't ignore the risks. We'd be giving up Dalton Knecht, who showed brilliant flashes as a rookie and has an extremely cheap contract. We'd also lose our 2031 pick, which could be gold if we're rebuilding at that time. And Vanderbilt, despite his injury issues, is still a versatile defender when healthy. The big question mark remains whether Grimes' numbers in Philly were real or inflated by circumstances. But looking at his history, from high school to the Knicks and then the Sixers, he's always been a player who took advantage of opportunities. That gives me confidence he can replicate and even surpass those performances in Los Angeles. Tactically, this trade makes perfect sense. We need a forward who can defend multiple positions, shoot threes consistently, and not disrupt the offensive flow of our stars. Grimes checks all those boxes and still brings youthful energy that can lift the whole locker room. The timeline also favors this move. While LeBron still has at least 2 more years of elite basketball and Doncic is entering his prime, Grimes would be growing alongside that duo. It's the perfect synchronization of experienced veterans and ambitious youth. Compared to other options on the market, Grimes offers one of the best cost-benefit ratios. We're not going to get an established star without giving up far more than we're offering here. And players with similar profiles are costing much more or simply aren't available. In the end, what we can take from this trade is that it represents exactly the type of smart move championship teams make. It's not the flashiest play, it won't make the biggest headlines, but it could be the difference between fighting for the playoffs and fighting for a title. Grimes isn't just a plan B for Wiggins. He could turn out to be an even better option when we look back. The Lakers have always been a franchise that knew how to identify talent before others. From Magic Johnson to Kobe, through Shaq and now LeBron, we've always bet on players at the right time. Grimes could be the next name on that list, a guy who arrived quietly but made all the difference when it mattered. At the end of the day, this isn't just a trade for a player, it's a statement of intent. We're saying we won't settle for the basics, that we'll keep searching for those pieces that can take us back to the top, and if Quentin Grimes is that piece, then let him come to Los Angeles soon to show why he deserves to wear the most victorious jersey in the NBA. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Do you believe Quentin Grimes would be the missing piece to complete our championship puzzle? Or do you still prefer to put all the chips on Wiggins' arrival? Which of these two options gives us the best real chance to get back to the top of the NBA? Leave your opinions in the comments. Until next time, Lakers Nation.